Jesus Christ and Life, Tree of Life, Fractal. Chapter 1. When I leave my apartment to go to work in the morning, I sometimes feel some energy in the flower bed built along the apartment. One day, I suddenly felt the grass on the soil, and the flowers and big trees above them, shining in the morning sun and the energy of life flowing strongly. Since then, there are times when I feel that kind of energy. I think it's because life grows in a huge chunk of concrete, so I feel desperate in contrast to it. There are streams flowing along the apartment complex. There are walking trails, trees grow along the creeks, fish live in the stream, and birds fly one by one. If it's a holiday, I take the train to the province. There are mountains and hills and fields. The river also flows. There are times when you see children playing in the water and fishing. If you get out of where people live, the world has all kinds of grass and flowers. The trees are seen and the birds are flying. If you look at it this way, you can see that the world is full of life. I think the biggest characteristics of life are very diverse. From microorganisms to large mammals, plants range from weeds to large trees. Even if they are the same person, there is no one who looks the same. Even if they are identical twins, they are not exactly the same. Their thoughts and actions are different, and even if they are in the same language, their tone is not the same. But if you look closely, matter changes just like life. Yesterday and today have never been the same. Look at this, you can see that nature is constantly changing and raging, never going the same path and never repeating the same thing. I was very heartbroken when I realized this, so I asked the Lord why He made the world like this. This means that if you don't respect the thoughts or actions of others, you can fall a victim by conflicts or conflicts. Historically, the world has caused a lot of problems because of conflict and split. In the name of religious conflict and religion, He committed numerous mistakes, including war, genocide, racism and persecution by supremacy, trouble and conflicts based on ideology, war and massacre. There is a saying in the words of Jesus Christ, "Do not think that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I have not come to bring peace, but a sword. For I have come to set a man against his father, and a daughter against her mother, and a daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a person's enemies will be those of his own household." Many people foresaw that many disputes would arise by not practicing the Spirit of Jesus Christ, but by saying that they were only good on the outside. But Jesus Christ saw that everyone was equal even though it was a hierarchical society. He saw everyone equal without discriminating against the poor, the handicapped, and the socially despised. He talked about a world without discrimination that humbles oneself and respects others through forgiveness and reconciliation. If you look at the ecosystem of nature, everyone is different, just as there are no zebras or the same pattern. Even if they are the same zebra, they all look different. Just because they look different doesn't mean there is any discrimination or restriction, and everything is given the same life. Anyone can live freely, it's the same zebra, so it's not the same. Just because you look different doesn't mean there are discrimination or restrictions, and nature knows that the ecosystem of nature can exist everywhere through life and death, as long as humans do not destroy ecosystems. From this nature, we can see that the word of Jesus Christ was given to each of us, regardless of rank or status. It's up to you to spread the word. Chapter 2. Jesus Christ spoke of endless forgiveness and reconciliation to the conflict and antagonities between man and man. You have heard that it was said, "An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth." But I say to you, do not resist the one who is evil. But if anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also. And if anyone would sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. He also said this, "So whatever you wish that others would do to you, do also to them, for this is the law and the prophets." He told me to open my heart completely, not to oppose or discriminate against others. But some people criticize others of having different opinions and actions, saying they're right, just, and righteous. If you commit a crime, you can say that's right, but in other cases, you can say it's a prejudiced idea. A prejudiced thought breeds discrimination and hatred. Those who say they are good by hating others, hating them, and inciting them to hate others, do not realize that they are entering the hatred of themselves. The world of hatred is a world of one person who is cut off from the outside. In a disconnected world, there is no life. It is a world where life is destroyed. Jesus Christ accepted even though Peter denied Jesus Christ 3 times, and the first person I saw Jesus Christ when he was resurrected was Mary, who was almost killed by people with stones. Jesus Christ has personally shown our endless forgiveness for those who are lacking and often at fault. But there are people who are recklessly stoned to others and say that they are right. Even though he deviates greatly from the words of Jesus Christ, he thinks he is doing well. In my life, I spoke strongly, fell into certain ideas or thoughts, argued with the other person, hurt the other person, angered, and even said harsh words that were close to the curse. Over the years, I learned that these words and arguments lead to being separated from each other, hating each other, and leading to a dark world of one person. Rather, if you listen to the other person's words and are wrong with my thoughts, respect the other person's thoughts. It makes my life more flexible and valuable to accept words or actions that I have to imitate and try to improve my thoughts or actions. I know that I can't put all the words of Jesus Christ into practice, but trying to listen to the other person's wishes as much as possible will gain trust from the other person, and I will be introduced to others to do more. Accepting difficulties and suffering reduces the suffering of others. Chapter 3. The sun lights up the world by burning itself. Father, he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. The sun shines equally on everything without discrimination. It can be said that it is the Spirit of Jesus Christ, to be the light of the world, with his own sacrifice and devotion, like the sun. In physics, the burning of the sun is seen as increasing the entropies and disappearing. But the world is an open world, so if someone loses it, someone gets it. And that's how life works. Forgiveness and reconciliation through penance and reflection renew us. You can heal your own pain, and failure move back to life. In today's world, despite the extreme development of science and civilization, there is no end to conflict, trouble, disaster and disease. As a result, the pain that people suffers is not diminishing, but more and more they are falling into the pain. Despite a lot of knowledge, theories or religion, it is not getting better and worse. Everything in the world has variability, changeability, nothing is eternal. That's why everything has time. Jesus Christ says that he will be complete when he opens his heart to every person. You have heard that it was said, "You shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy." But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you, so that you may be sons of your Father who is in heaven. For he makes his sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain on the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward do you have? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet only your brothers, what more are you doing than others? Do not even the Gentiles do the same? You therefore must be perfect, as your heavenly Father is perfect. Chapter 4. I am the only one. You are the only one in the world. There is no one who resembles you, and no one has the same heart, action, and tone. So you are the only one in the world. Furthermore, no one in the universe is the same as you. No matter how hard and difficult you are the only one. You are the only one in this world and in this universe, even though you are in a low position, poor, and even if you are sick. Jesus Christ does not discriminate against anyone. Jesus Christ is infinitely open. Life comes only when it is infinitely open. Each one is unique, so you can add, divide, or count like an object. It is not divided by ideology. It is not divided by the laws or theories that people say. It's not even divided by religious ideology. Each of us is an independent small world. There is word of Jesus Christ in me. The word is given to all people and living beings without discrimination, and heals wounded and suffering souls. Each one of the words in it is gathered together, and it becomes a little big like a small valley, and these words are united, and it is like a small stream. The more people respect each other, the more it becomes like a big river. Even further, you can get closer to the word of Jesus Christ. The word of Jesus Christ of all the thoughts and all the words of the world. Chapter 5. Who is up and who is down? And Jesus said to him, Why do you call me good? No one is good except God alone. Mark 10:18, Jesus Christ all spoke of brothers and sisters. But people are just saying these words out of practice. The word of Jesus Christ is one, but there are people who don't share it with everyone. but who are trapped in their own world to follow only themselves. The words are everyone's words, but I think I'm a faultless. I often think of myself as flawless. Criticize others. Discriminate against others because I have different thoughts, actions, status, and religion, and do not respect others. The self-righteous idea that only I and the organization I belong to are right is far from the spirit of Christ. They're the only ones who think they're good. There is no high or low in the words of Jesus Christ. If I'm the only one, others is the only one. If I'm precious, others are precious, and if my interests are precious, other people's interests are precious. Therefore, life is not divided by status, rank, or ideology. It is given equally to everyone. Words is one, but people's thoughts are divided. Jesus Christ said that it is not an exclusive collectivist closed world where everyone has similar thoughts and actions, but a world where everyone goes together by respecting others. But there is a strange thought that I feel strange while studying the words of Jesus Christ. The word is the power to heal the wounded and left out soul, and just as the sun shines the light on all things, so the word of life of Jesus Christ is given to everyone, and you can feel that the warmth is always with you. But from the past to the present, if you look at it, you won't find the gentleness, tenderness and flexibility of Jesus Christ from a long time ago. Many people have forgotten the true meaning of the word of Jesus Christ. Many people don't seem to know what's wrong. Sometimes, even if someone said the true word of Jesus Christ, he could not accept it. I think there were more cases where people still couldn't escape from differentiated thoughts, couldn't get rid of their shells, and found God trapped inside them. The word of Jesus Christ contains all living things, all people, thoughts, and words, and all things in the world. The word is always with us, but if we try to know a little bit of the word and put it into practice, the word will not shine in us. The word of Jesus Christ leads to an infinitely open world. There are many disciplines, theories, and knowledge in this world. The world is changing rapidly and new knowledge is accumulating at a tremendous speed. In order not to fall behind, you should always explore your knowledge. You need to develop the ability to judge whether something is true or false. You have to judge how far you can do with your knowledge. You're doing a lot of things with computers, but you can't solve people's fundamental problems. It's very convenient for computers, mobile phones, etc., but it doesn't have all power. Even if a quantum computer comes out, people still have to breathe and live. People still get old, sick, and die. If you pursue convenience, the side effects are also quite large. When you're always trying to learn what the truth is, you are not fooled by lies and you don't fall into the dark. If you neglect this, you can go to your own dark world by locking up the words of Jesus Christ and going exclusively. It could make the world more and more desolate. Just as nature's life is very diverse, life and words come to life only when there is diversity of thoughts. Everything in nature is connected, circulated by diversity, and life and mind can be renewed. Chapter 6. Thomas Merton, who has stepped away from his long religious life, realized the world where God is with everyone who has no discrimination between you and me, and wrote, "In Louisville, at the corner of 4th and Walnut, in the shopping district, I was suddenly overwhelmed with the realization that I loved all those people, that they were mine and theirs, that we could not be alien to one another even though we were total strangers. It was like waking from a dream of separateness, of spurious self-isolation in a special world of renunciation and supposed holiness. The whole illusion of a separate holy existence is a dream. Not that I question the reality of my vocation or of my monastic life, but the conception of separation from the world that we have in the monastery too easily presents itself as a complete illusion that by making vows we become a different species of being, pseudo angels, spiritual men of interior life. This sense of liberation from an illusory difference was such a relief and such a joy to me that I almost laughed out loud. And I supposed my happiness could have taken from in these words, thank God, that I am like other men, that I am only a man among others. It is a glorious destiny to be a member of the human race, though it is a race dedicated to many absurdities and one which makes many terrible mistakes. Yet, with all that, God himself gloried in becoming a member of the human race, a member of the human race. To think that such a commonplace realization should suddenly seem like news, that one holds the winning ticket in a cosmic sweepstake. I have the immense joy of being man, a member of the race in which God himself became incarnate. As if the sorrows and stupidities of the human condition could overwhelm me, now I realize what we all are. And if only everybody could realize this. But it cannot be explained. There is no way of telling people that they are all walking around shining like the sun. There are no strangers. Then it was as if I suddenly saw the secret beauty of their heart, the depth of their hearts where neither sin nor desire nor self-knowledge can reach, the core of their reality, the person that each one is in God's eyes. If only they could all see themselves as they really are. If only we could see each other that way all the time, there would be no more war, no more hatred, no more cruelty, no more greed. I suppose the big problem would be that we would fall down and worship each other. At the center of our being is a point of nothingness that is untouched by sin and by illusion. A point of pure truth, a point or spark which belongs entirely to God, which is never at our disposal, from which God disposes our lives, which is inaccessible to the fantasies of our own mind or the brutalities of our will. This little point of nothingness and of absolute poverty is the pure glory of God in us. It is, so speak, his name written in us, as our poverty, as our dependence, as our sonship. It is like a pure diamond, blazing with the invisible light of heaven. It is in everybody, and if we could see it, we would see these billions of points of light coming together in the face and blaze of a sun that would make all the darkness and cruelty of life vanish completely. I have no program for this seeing. It is only given, but the gate of heaven is everywhere. Living with Wisdom, 132. The solitude he felt called to required a profound communion with others, a solitude that, indifferent to anyone's suffering dead-end street, he had to make of his monastic vocation a place both of non-presence and attendance, non-participation and engagement, hiddenness and hospitality, disappearance and arrival. The end other as birds need two wings. Living with Wisdom, 135. Chapter 7. Everything in the world has variability, changeability, nothing is eternal. Nature constantly changes and differentiates, never goes the same path and never repeats the same thing. We don't know the end of the eruption. The word of Jesus Christ was given equally to all. Just as the sun shines on small flowers and grass from the big trees, the words of Jesus Christ are given to all things, and life and death are working on everything. Jesus Christ spoke of the kingdom of heaven as a parable of mustard seeds. The kingdom of heaven is like a grain of mustard seed that a man took and sowed in his field. It is the smallest of all seeds, but when it has grown it is larger than all the garden plants and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air come and make nests in its branches. Matthew 13:32. Trees breathe under sunlight. By inhaling and exhaling, you breathe in good air and exhale bad air, which renews life in moments and moments. Through the change of seasons, they accept new good things and grow new by breaking away from existing bad things, and not only grow their lives, but also grow together by allowing creatures such as birds to fly and nest. The seed of life comes from the smallest seed in the world, and the tree that grew from it grows into the largest tree in the world, providing a home for many living things. The structure of most trees grows by repeating certain patterns. At first, a branch comes out of one stem, and no other branches come out until the new branches grow to some extent. But when the branches grow to some extent, new branches come out. The split branches resemble the shape of the whole tree. However, it is not completely the same shape, and the shapes of branches and other branches are similar, but there are no branches that look completely the same. As such, a constant pattern in which the shape of the part is self-similar to the whole, and the same shape is repeated endlessly is called a fractal structure. In mathematical sense, fractal patterns have infinite scale variations, but in real nature, scale variations cannot be infinite, so it can be said that similarities with images of trees exist only within a certain range of scales. The structure of a tree refers to a structure in which twigs extending from the body constantly extend over time while having a body, large stem. The action of life of the body, large stem, can be changed anew only when the action of life of fine branches is combined. Branches grow by accepting energy necessary for life through self-organization and emitting unnecessary energy, and by utilizing flexibility, they naturally have the ability to heal when energy circulation is smooth. Trees give soft branches according to the passage of time, and breathe constantly. Here, the warmth of life springs up like a spring. As it builds up, the tree grows bigger. Jesus Christ was saying that we would be the smallest. Just as breathing in and out, breathing in good air, exhaling bad air, refreshing life in a moment, always accepting forgiveness and reconciliation with reflection, and giving out hate and hatred, the words of Jesus Christ in me will breathe alive. Breathing word heal me when I'm struggling, tired, and hard. The warmth of the word, especially when you are sick, hurt, or frustrated and you have a desperate heart, the word will live in you and renew your life. When such a life accumulates, you will be warm around you, and the person you receive will be warm around him, and the energy of life will spread like a wave. When a tree grows large with new branches over time, it will be said that the warmth of life is created, and accordingly, many other lives fly in to create a nest. Time does not wait for us. There is no case of going late or going fast. What will happen if the past time continues? I think that's the end of life. That's why nature doesn't repeat itself. We can leap into a new world of life when we don't fall into the inertia of the past, but when we go back to the basics, when we empty our hearts, when we're in the beginner's mind, or the smallest seed in the world. The world is one, but there are many lives, and the word is one, but there are many different thoughts and words. Only I will not be right, but with the respect of many other thoughts and many lives, so that I can enter the kingdom of heaven. World, nature, doesn't select anything, it accepts everything. There are countless things, from very small to very large. If we don't discriminate and respect it, it's a great world.